Well, hello everyone. My name is Robert French, and this is the title of my presentation today is Seeing Successful Behavior Changes Among YMCA Members. Go to the next slide. And this whole semester I've been privileged to sit in with some of the wellness coaches here. They've been amazing as they've taken new members through the coach approach, which I found to be fantastic. I love the design of it. I love the emphasis. I just wrote down a few of those here just straight off of the sheet that we offer here at the YMCA. That's improve your goals, set your goals first, improve mood, more energy, prevent disease, enhance well-being. Those are just some of the main goals that you see in the coach approach. Next slide. So just a little outline of what I'm going to present today. So I wanted to look at 4 areas of focus here, and to do this I looked up 4 different research articles that dealt with each of these issues, and I'll explain more in detail later on. We're going to look at technology, self-efficacy, values, and then finally we're going to look at fun. So the first study I came across, what they did here was they measured what are the barriers when people use these personal health information management systems like FitLinks, or when they go into the coach approach, they're giving a lot of their personal information to the wellness coaches. Me, as a young person, I don't think twice about that. It doesn't matter to me. I don't have this skepticism of where my information is going. But this study wanted to examine that in a more older population. So they sent out a web-based survey at a regional hospital. The hospital employees were the ones, or employers were the ones to take the surveys. And the point of the survey was to measure their willingness, their barriers, and the facilitators that are associated with this. I'll call it FEM from this. I don't have to say that every time. And what the results found were those who were comfortable with them were 7.22 times more likely to give that information out, and those not comfortable were 5 times more likely not to use one of those systems. So, I mean, that's kind of a straightforward, obvious interpretation from that. But just a quick conclusion, the comfort with this system is going to equal the willingness to use it. And now, next slide. Now, why does that matter? Well, when you have people come in who might already be coming in with, well, I'm skeptical of all this stuff right off the bat, I think it might be valuable to give them a questionnaire, maybe on if they're trusting of this technology or giving their information out. And if they tend to be more skeptical, I think it would be helpful that the coaches demonstrate the trust that these systems are safe, and here's why, and that they can explain that to the members. The next study I looked at, it was a focus on self-efficacy, and the purpose of the study was to examine the relationship of feelings of energy, exercise self-efficacy, and participation. So what they did was this was on a university setting for undergraduate students, so you're looking at a younger population here. And it was a cross-sectional mailing survey. What they measured was the feelings of physical and mental energy, task and scheduling self-efficacy, which I'm really going to be focusing on the results from that. And so the results basically indicated that energy affected your task scheduling. So if you have low energy, you're not going to be good at task scheduling. And if you're bad at task scheduling, you're not going to be effective in exercise participation. So the conclusion is you definitely want to encourage energy increases, which they already do in the wellness coaching, in the coach approach. But also, which I've seen a little bit of, is encouraging the scheduling habits. Go to the next slide. So again, kind of similar to the last one, just kind of get a survey of what their habits are. Do they feel like they're good at scheduling things, or maybe they feel like this all the time? And find a way to help them understand that relationship, that if you don't get this area right, you're going to be way less apt to adhere to a workout program because this is your life. So you may set that goal of 5 times a week, but all this stuff is going to come up and get in the way, and you're going to, I know that was maybe one of the biggest problems that they see in that office. So organization affects exercise participation. That's kind of the bottom line there. Oh, can you see me, Dr. Anderson? Sorry about that. If you could turn the clock back on. So the next study I looked at was probably my favorite one. It was looking at how values affect exercise participation. And so they have this model called the disconnected values model. We'll refer to it as the DMV or DVM. And they wanted to see how this value-based intervention would affect the overall health change commitment. It was a university setting again, but this time we have faculty and staff, so not students. And what they measured was fitness, exercise commitment, reason, and this is the big one, was their reasons for exercise and diet. Why are you doing this in the first place? Because motivation is the biggest thing, especially once they're to that point in 3 weeks in when they don't feel like doing it anymore. And the conclusion was that the use of this model is useful in their overall health improvements. And I just wanted, next slide, I wanted to kind of go through just a little bit because I thought it was pretty cool. So what this model, this is the model, you can't really see it that well, but it's focusing on the cognitive effects in producing the exercise participation. So in other words, if they see, like, let's say there's somebody who their biggest value in their life was to make money, which that's kind of common. I've seen guys come in there and they're, you know, in those boardroom setting type jobs, and now they're out of shape because they're just like, well, I'm just going to do this, pursue this wealth, and now they're out of shape all of a sudden. So the cost of exercising to them actually would have made it harder for them to make money. So they wouldn't do it because, well, my goal, my deepest value is to make money, as opposed to someone who maybe wants to live a long, healthy life for their family as their deepest value. They're going to be more apt to exercise and adhere to it. So that's really what this is getting at without going through the whole thing. So you really want to find what the person's values are and how you can encourage them and show them how exercise is going to enhance that deepest value. The next one was fun. So I've seen, well, I'll get to that in a second, but the study, first of all, they did an 8-week exergaming program, which is it's the new wave of how fitness is going. You've probably seen all those cool little video game interactive ways you can exercise. And they did this in 46 rural older adults in a wellness center. And they wanted to measure the physical activity participation and their perceived health after this intervention. So the results showed the overall increased physical activity as well as their perceived health. And they concluded that this program can increase physical activity. Also, socialization was a big one, along with the perceived health. Go to the next one. So I looked it up. There's actually a lot of YMCAs that have these exergaming rooms. Now, I know it probably cost a lot to do that, but it was just kind of a cool thought to kind of view maybe that studio room having some of this stuff one day. And I don't know all the details that will go into that, but I think it's definitely worth making a goal and shooting for that. And then this one that I looked up in New York, they had the kids' room, they have the youth room, the adults' room, so it can be a great place for the little kids to, stay occupied and also learn those workout behaviors early on. Same with the youth, which is the teenage age, and then they have the adult room where you can actually do like a studio class and have teachers and everything. So the pros, active gaming, so not as much as what the kids are used to today, which is the not active gaming. We definitely want to cut those behaviors. They will have improved cognition because these games cause you to think as you do them. So you're working out and you're also thinking, maybe a little puzzle or something. And it's very social, you're engaged with everyone there, and it's just a lot of fun. And again, the cons maybe is the money it would cost to do it. Go to the next one. Yeah, this is just a vision, kind of this little CNN extra gaming room, but just envisioning that scene of a cycling class with this great atmosphere. I mean, I would much rather participate in that than go in there and maybe it's not that great of an atmosphere. Especially, I've never really cycled that much. Okay, go to the next one. That's it. So thank you. It's been a great time here. I appreciate everything you've done, Rhonda, and look forward to being here the next couple of weeks, actually. So that's the end of the presentation.